So Teeny and I have a viewer requested video that we're going to talk about thought forms. So having some difficulty with recording this morning, let's try this again, although it's the first time for you guys. So I'm going to be making a distinction in this video between psychological thought forms and um, the magical side of thought forms, also called tulpas. I do have a playlist on psychological tulpas if you guys want to check that out, and there's plenty of websites and even a Reddit and stuff on the psychological side of thought forms, also called tulpas. So, in a lot of circles, the idea of thought form or tulpa, or at least the use of those two words, can be interchangeable, but we're going to be using thought forms in this video. So, thought forms are created from concentrated mental energy towards a specific goal. Our consciousness, though created by the brain, is really just a bunch of energy in the form of electrical signals, because that's what our brain does. So, think about this is you in here, this is your energy. What about externalizing it, right? So thought forms, also called go-tos, fetches, egregores, or tulpas, are an externalization of energy in a concentrated manner that is manifested towards a specific goal. So psychologically, thought forms they represent a dedication of attention towards a specific goal in a ritualistic spell work format, and thought forms are given a physical vessel to inhabit when not conducting the work towards the goal, and it also ties them to this physical plane, just like you are tied to the physical plane, to help you. Think about it. Your vessel is this. Your energy is not only in your mind, but everywhere. Even your aura, according to research, extends up to 30 feet for healthy people. So, yeah, so the physical vessel is a way of having a physical focal point for the magician to focus energy toward it and to sustain the thought form and keep it alive. So the physical vessel it can be like a statue that is created by you that shows a physical representation of the thought form. It could be something as simple as a rock. It could be a shrine, a bowl, like the Watcher Bowl, something like that. Let's see. So the physical vessel should be destroyed, so you can destroy it when the thought form has achieved its purpose. Think about it. If this body's destroyed, where am I? Right? The amount of energy and attention the thought form requires is dependent on the goal the thought form was made for, just like any other kind of spell work. You got to think about it. The amount of energy that you put into a spell is the same amount of energy that you are basically going to need to obtain that goal. So if it's a rather simple goal, then like simple goals require a lot less energy than complicated or complex goals. It's like when you go on a trip. Not going that far, not that much gas. Going across the country, yeah, a lot of gas. Now, the physical form of the vessel and of the thought form themselves, when you generate and create them, doesn't necessarily matter. Um, I've read about examples where people create thought forms where it's just simply balls of energy. I've read about thought forms that are designed in their depiction, in the way that they're visualized, and they are created to have a specific form that is in line with the goal. Think about it. You don't want to go to a fat doctor to get healthy because that doctor's not healthy. You would not go to a weight trainer who's super skinny and has no muscles. You would want to go to somebody with muscles, right? So think about that if you're going to create a thought form egregore or what have you. So you should also name the thought form. This gives your consciousness and subconsciousness a linguistic focal point for it to be associated with. The name should not be the name that reminds you of anything else. So it can't be the name of anybody that you know, and it can't be the name of anything that you associate with anything else. Like if I was to name a thought form Samsung, well, my phone's a Samsung, so my energy, my attention would also kind of draw towards the idea of my phone rather than the thought form that I was creating. So the way that I like to do it is you have your intentional phrase of I'm going to create a thought form to help me achieve blah, 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 blah. You kind of delineate that down to as simple of and specific as a phrase as you can get it, write it down, eliminate the repeating letters, jumble those letters up to create what is called a nonsense word. So a word that doesn't sound like anything else, and boom, you have the name, right? Then you can take that and you can make a sigil out of that name, either through your own artistic design or maybe associating it with a certain planetary energy, depending on the goal. You can use planetary squares for that, or you can even use like the rose cross method for sigils and whatnot to create a sigil for it. And that sigil also kind of gives you a focal point to focus your energy on. The sigil can be put on the physical vessel and or even nearby in your ritual space, or even carried with you to bring that energy of the thought form with you, depending on what your goal is. Every situation's different. Now, where was I? So, when created, the thought form should be given a destruction date when the magician will re-enter the ritual space or the temple and destroy the physical vessel and reabsorb the energy of the thought form, and reabsorb it, dissipate it, kind of the same thing. Where okay, your job's done. That's it. It's like a temp job. Okay, your job is done. Bye. Right? So, in ritual, the thought form is fueled by your concentration and your desire to achieve the outcome that it is designed to help you with, which can be gaining something, eliminating something, or acquiring certain information, among any other goals that you can think of. Remember, because magic can be used for any number of things. Let's see. So, if the intended goal of the thought form is complicated or something that you are requesting consistent help with, the thought form must be fed energy on a regular basis. This energy is fed in the form of entering the visual space and calling upon the thought form, bringing it into your awareness, focusing on the physical vessel, focusing on your depiction and your visualization of the thought form, making sure that it is there in the ritual space with you, and you are like refueling it. So your desire to have the specific goal, you are bringing all that back up. You are taking that energy and you are pushing it into the thought form. You are giving it that intention, that energy. It's like reminding someone of their expectations. Like it's like the boss going over and reviewing, hey, this is what we're supposed to be doing here. That kind of thing. So let's see. You focus on the vessel, visualize the thought form. Let's say, yeah. So, we're going to be going over kind of a generalized, extremely watered down generalized idea of how to create a thought form. You guys can check out many, many, many books or even some online sources on how to create a thought form, but this is extremely generalized, right? So you make your ritual space or your temple, you invoke the deities that you want to work with, like your compass direction deities, your god, your goddess, that kind of stuff. And then you state your intention. You raise energy, which is fueled by the emotion and the desire to have a certain goal, and you have your physical vessel already made, right? So when you raise up all that energy, you then focus on the physical vessel and you push that desire and that energy into the physical vessel while visualizing what your thought form looks like. So you create this energetic thought form and tie it to that physical vessel. You concentrate as much as you can, as hard as you can. If you have to go step back into the raising energy part, do it, and then push that energy into the vessel, right? And after you create it with your energy and intention, then you give it its declaration. Hey, this is your name. This is what you're going to do. And this is when I'm going to destroy you, because that's when the job is over, when I get this, right? Then offer it some energy. I know that you just built it with energy, but then, give it an offering. What is it? Like water, food, incense, what have you. So remind the thought form of the intention and then send it on its way, right? Then you close down your ritual space and all that. But then every time that you go to feed it energy, you kind of open a ritual space like that. You can't just light some incense and walk away. You got to pay attention. You got to give it minutes of conscious focus that you are refueling it effectively. You are stopping at a gas station, for lack of a better analogy. So, If a thought form is not destroyed, the energy of the thought form is still there with no direction, either because the goal was met or it has nothing else to do. So you're not feeding it, so it can kind of go rogue. It's like an unsupervised kid with a tendency to break stuff, kind of, right? When kids get bored, they start. Oh, think about like a dog, right? You leave a dog at home for too long, right? You might get home, and this happened to my mother. Couches ripped up. Oh yeah, that kind of sucks. Get a cat instead. Just an opinion. I'm on my soapbox. So thought forms can be unintentionally created as a result of suppressed emotions. There was this one cool example of a woman who she had a lot of like abuse in the home, and those suppressed emotions of anger and stuff actually externalized themselves and created poltergeist activity. So this was a very generalized overview of thought forms, which I have used. I think the first time that I used one was in 2009, and it's actually been quite a heavy-ish focus of mine when I've been kind of working with the Watcher from the Simon Necronomicon and kind of expanding on the ideas of it and seeing how far I can push it. So there's a lot of different resources that you can use to work with thought forms and egregores and such. Tons of books. Several of my books back there have an idea of how to work with and create thought forms. One of them is the Nocturnal Witchcraft by Constantinos. I remember looking into that one. But there's lots of websites and such, and probably other YouTubers and whatnot that have done videos on this kind of topic. So let me know what you guys think about it. You can send me some emails, drop me some comments, and ask further questions, because then I could make a part 2 to this. So yeah, let me know what you think. Good hunting. Thanks for watching my video. So if you want to check out my playlists, I have, among others, the Simon Necronomicon, the Tree of Life, General Magic, Tulpamancy, a playlist on my books, the elements, stones, the theories that govern magic, and the gods and goddesses of Mesopotamia. If you want to check out my books on Amazon, I have Creating Consciousness, Magical Mechanics, Magical Theater, Handy Sigil Magic, Magical Movement, which is an update and expansion upon Handy Sigil Magic, Magical Mastery, which is a combination masterwork of Magical Theater and Magical Mechanics, and The Guide to the Spheres and Beyond. You can also find me on Facebook at Magickology YT. You can email me at priestofthenecro@gmail.com, and you can even check out my Instagram, which is Magickology. And good hunting.